Hey everyone, and welcome to Television from the Multiverse, the DC TV podcast from MailFuzz TV. I am Peter, and joining me as always is Connor.
Yes, it is. I forgot I'd speak on this one.
Do you know what? You give me shit in some of the shows for the lack of enthusiasm I give your introduction, but when I actually give you enthusiasm, and I would argue that that was as fair as an enthusiastic introduction as I can muster for you, you give me this apathetic kind of...
Like I said, I forgot. I forgot I was supposed to say something and it caught me off guard.
Every time you get a chance, you just, I pass the ball and you just drop it. It lands with a thud at your feet.
I'm so used to you just steamrolling through the intro on most of the other shows that I forget I'm supposed to acknowledge it on like 3 of them, including this one.
The ones that are podcasts, you get a chance to say hello. The ones that aren't really podcasts, you don't.
I know there's a logic. I know it makes sense. I agree with why you're doing it, and I just forgot. What do you want from me?
Just a better class of co-hosts. That's all I want. That's all I want in life. All right, this is our DC TV podcast. Coming up on this week's show, we'll be talking about new episodes of Arrow, Black Lightning, and The Flash, as well as a classic episode of Batman the Animated Series. A couple of light weeks, and it's going to be another couple of light weeks because it turns out that The Flash and Arrow are both taking some time off. As is expected this time of year, they tend to be sporadic.
Yeah,
sort of.
Black Lightning's taking a couple of weeks off as well.
Yeah, so it's going to be really quiet. So we're actually going to be swapping shows completely next week to the Doom Patrol premiere, of course, with Supergirl, and is it just those 2 next week?
I think it is. So off season.
Off season content, yeah, and then it'll be that for a couple of weeks, I think, and then swapping back or something. I don't know. Like we'll
figure it out every week. I mean, next week's going to be particularly. It's going to be a nice week for us for recording because Doom Patrol we will be doing early for the YouTubes.
Yes, Doom Patrol episode 1, like past episode 1s like Krypton and Black Lightning last year. Doom Patrol will be getting an early standalone review that will go up on YouTube early, so hopefully sometime Friday night. And then that'll just be edited into next week's episode. But then from there on, it'll just be in the show like everything else is every week.
Yeah.
It does mean that if you do get the episode review early on YouTube, it'll be almost 2 weeks before you get our episode 2 review on the podcast. So keep that in mind when you decide if you want to go and check that out. If that gap sounds torturous.
But let's be honest, you can't resist those hot takes. You're gonna be there.
Maybe. So yeah, it's gonna be a weird like lineup of shows over the next like month or 2. Things are taking breaks, things are swapping in and out. So yeah, expect a different lineup. Some weeks, if there's little enough shows, we'll bring back Gotham and the Flash 90s to fill in some time. We won't build it back up to 6 shows because that is genuinely too much. We do it when we have to, but we like about 4. 4's the nice amount.
4's a nice number.
So yes, that's what's coming up on this week's show, and oh boy, we have some doozies to talk about today.
Oh, don't we just?
There's no news actually. I always just go through Newsarama's TV section before we start to like see if there was any news in the week, and obviously sometimes I'll remember some stuff because there was maybe something big. But
yeah, there's nothing official. There's some rumblings about things here or there.
There's rumblings about cast members, possibly wanting to jump ship. Cisco from Flash, which has some weight to it because he was missing 2 different episodes, not quite back to back, but almost.
Yeah.
And I just saw this on Twitter. I have no idea if this has any credibility whatsoever. I have no idea, but I did see one random tweet saying Katie McGrath might be done with Supergirl after season 4, which if that is the case, she better go full evil before the end of the season.
Sorry, how did you just say her name?
I don't know.
Say her name.
Katie McGrath. What?
McGrath, surely you should know this.
Should I?
That's a pretty. Does Scots not do that? Like
I've never met anyone with that name before.
Have you not? Okay, it's a Gaelic thing. It's Scottish and Irish, as far as I was aware.
And there's a reason why most people don't use Gaelic anymore.
Yeah.
Although the Welsh are clinging to their version of it, like they're dying.
Screw the Welsh. It's a stupid language. Everyone knows.
We have at least one Welsh listener that I know of, so I'm going to be nice and say I'll stick up for the Welsh on this occasion. But give up the stupid language.
I I offend everyone equally. I will shit on my own hometown just as much as I will shit on Wales, quite happily.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, all right, McGrath then. I don't know.
Yes.
Like Mardi Gras? They're very different spellings, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's essentially the same thing.
It is, yeah. It's the same way, yeah.
Right, it's not my fault the language is stupid, all right? It is.
Yeah, it is. It has some stupid rules.
Yeah.
That's one of the simpler ones, though.
Hey-ho. But she might piss off after season 4, which is honestly fine. We've been saying that her and James could probably be doing with getting cut. From the show, not cut as in with a blade, just for the record.
Yeah, it is a shame though, because I like her on the show. If you just remove James, I think she's a fine addition to that cast. She
has to go evil though. I feel like if she leaves without going evil, it's a waste of the entire journey of the character.
Yeah, it feels like that's where we've been leading, right? It's slowly been getting there, and I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Like I say, I saw this on Twitter. This might have no credibility. The Siska one, I've heard from a few people, and it does seem to have some credibility because he's been kind of on and off. Then again, so's Barry actually for a couple of episodes. So, I wonder if he's just filming a movie or something, so they had to cut his schedule down a little bit for a few episodes.
Yeah, maybe
that may just be the case. And I feel like they're probably more lenient, like several seasons in, because they want to keep the actor happy, so they'll stick around, even though they're already in like 6-7 seasons. And it's like, we'll give you a couple of easy episodes so you can go off and
maybe
do
some contract renewals coming up.
Your little passion project on the side.
Yeah.
But yeah, there may have been another one.
Really? More?
I can't remember. There's one that already happened this week. We'll get to it in the episode.
There's technically two. Only one was a regular, but there's another one that's gone as well.
I'm actually forgetting who this is. I'm sure we mentioned it when we were watching it, and we went, "Oh, they're leaving too," but I don't remember who it was.
Yeah, it's less notable, but it just means it's someone we'll never see again. So worth mentioning.
Okay. So yeah, no news. All those rumors and rumblings, and that's what it is. Cast members go in and out, I suppose. I think the real glaring thing, though, just to have a general sort of conversation about this, is how so few of them have actually had well-written exits that make sense. So many of them are just in the episode they're leaving, get a very quick reason to why they're leaving, and that's it. And I'm thinking of Patty on Flash. I'm thinking, or hell, Lucy Lane and Maxwell Lord and Supergirl didn't even get a reason. They just disappeared between episodes. I'm thinking.
Lucy Lane was at least between seasons, right?
Well, so was Maxwell Lord, but I mean, still.
No, come on. Maxwell Lord vanished halfway through that season, and you know it.
No, he didn't. There was a cliffhanger with him in the final episode. Remember, he picked up the orb thing. He was there all season.
You're right. I'm misremembering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To quote a comment on our most recent Star Trek review, why is the soulless one always wrong about everything? Which is clearly referring to you.
Yeah, I will wear that with pride.
Because for those of you who didn't know, gingers don't have souls.
It's true.
So
it's true. We just fill that void with alcohol.
Yes. So no, it's like it bugs me because I actually heard before we watched Arrow last night that someone had left the show and they were gone by the end of the episode, and I was like,
and you were like, wait, what? That hasn't been set up at all.
Yeah, it hadn't been, and it was just kind of out of nowhere. Oh, there's a reason why this character would leave, and I'm like, this feels like half the other. And even when they get like a big like dramatic death, and obviously we got another version of Laurel, later on, but that death felt again out of nowhere. They had nothing to do, like they had nothing for that character to do all season, and then the episode she was dying, okay, a little bit of time.
Yeah,
a little bit of time, then a death that means nothing. And it kind of feels Ragman was another one who just disappeared randomly, really.
Yeah.
Very quick reason, and then other than the interview segment in last week's episode, never to be seen again.
That barely counts.
Yeah, so I just, they add so many characters, and I honestly can't blame a lot of the actors. And Wally as well, actually, thinking about from Flash.
Thea.
I can't blame them for wanting to leave, though, because almost every example we've just brought up, I think the Supergirl ones from season 1 are a little bit different, because they clearly made some choices between seasons in the writers' room about who they just didn't want it to use anymore.
Yeah, part of that was probably to do with moving shooting locations
Yeah.
and networks. That probably all that would have an impact.
Yeah, there's probably some reasons behind those ones that make sense. All the rest of the ones we've mentioned, though, all of the characters had very little to do for a long time before they left. So I can't really blame the actors for wanting to go away.
I think the only one out of that list that I would say still had not potential, but wasn't just sitting around doing nothing for a long time was Patty, because they didn't have time for us to get bored of her.
Well,
they were doing stuff with her, and then she's gone.
Well, because we were convinced she was going to be back by the end of the season.
Yeah.
At the time, and then I was just shocked when she wasn't, and then I was okay. She'll show up in season 3 then, and then she didn't, and now we're in season 5, and it's like, oh well, I guess, I guess. I mean, I don't think for a second that there's no chance of her coming back. Like, I can see her having a guest spot in one episode, and like, oh, you and Iris are married, but that wasn't a planned thing.
There's no place for her in the show now.
Yeah. But, I can see them having her back for one episode for the fun of having her back, but that was not planned at the time. That was not.
No.
Her character was written out in a really abrupt way that was bizarre.
But like I said, compared to all the others, it felt like she was just getting started. And then they went, all right, she's gone now. Whereas all the others, they've been sat around for a long time doing nothing.
Yes.
And notably, most of them had large chunks of episodes off.
Yeah. Most famously, Thea.
It is the Thea effect.
That's what we call it now. These recent Cisco disappearances we've been calling the Thea effect.
Yeah.
And obviously we're not counting Joe from The Flash in that because he's got an injury. There's a reason why he was gone.
That's different.
Yeah.
That doesn't, it's not fair to them.
He's back next episode, actually. Episode 15, if I recall correctly. It's his returning episode.
That's because he's got to be there to take on King Shark. Joe's going to save the day. Everyone knows this.
Yes. Let's talk about this week's episodes, though. So we'll start with Arrow, since that aired first. And again, it's weird to start with Arrow.
Yeah, it is.
But Stanley was back, and that was the highlight of the episode for sure.
Stanley is a delight in the worst possible way.
Yeah, so we were quite right. We guessed last episode that the one leaving all the notes for all the characters was Stanley. This episode starts with a bunch of other characters also getting those notes. Renee gets one. Dinah gets. Well, Dinah got one at the end of the episode last time, but Laurel gets one. Everyone but Oliver and I think Curtis.
Yeah, Curtis didn't matter enough.
Yes, which is why he left.
Yeah,
because what's funny is he comes to Diggle at the start and he's like, hey, I've been given this offer in Washington, this job to run this lab or whatever, and help save the world, blah blah blah. And Diggle's trying to talk him out of it, and they give him this offer, Argus, to head up the science division.
Diggle's like, no, you're essential here. We can't do without you.
Mm-hmm. And it's just funny because I'm like, we already knew he left, so this all felt kind of futile. So I mean, to give them credit, no one knew he was leaving really until the episode aired.
Yeah.
So
do you know why no one knew he was leaving? Because it wasn't set up in any way at all.
Exactly. Yes. But no, even just in, announcing the actor's exit, they didn't do it. They made a point of saving it until it was done. But knowing he was already leaving, the scenes of Diggle trying to convince him to stay, and it felt like he might, he was tempted. It was just kind of like, this is all futile.
He'll be back next year for the Crisis, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of these actors don't mind coming back for their cameos and things like that. But yeah. So yeah, Stanley's after people, and they're trying to track him down where these notes are coming from, and Dinah gets her throat slashed. Is basically
it's delightfully brutal.
It's pretty brutal. It's her, Renee, and Diggle searching this hideout, and she gets her throat slashed because we saw she had a scar in the future. So we're kind of waiting for this.
We know she can't scream.
Yes. Did they confirm that she can't scream?
I thought so. I thought they did.
Because I questioned it as soon as it happens. Is her power gone now? Is that just?
I'm under the impression that it was, especially with the way they treated the end of this, when they're like, oh well, a voice,
Well, we'll see. But
maybe she can if she's that desperate. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe she can do it, but it'll hurt like a bitch. So
she doesn't. Yeah.
It'll be limited in its usage. Yeah,
because that's just what we needed: depowering more people.
But Oliver's not actually that involved in the investigation or dealing with any of this because he's too busy dealing with the fact that young William called his grandparents, and his grandparents are going to take custody of him against Oliver's wishes. So we get some family drama and fighting about that.
Oh, it's so rough.
It's really
It's
bad.
awful.
There's like 2 or 3 scenes of William getting really upset and like screaming at his father and being like a whiny teenager, and his acting is rough.
Yeah, put it kindly there.
Possibly the worst he's been since he's been on the show, and that is saying something.
Pretty sure we said that last week as well.
Well, it's happened again. So,
yeah. But this is the one redeeming quality. Is this is the other one I was talking about? We're never going to see him again.
Oh, that's true.
William.
Yeah, he theoretically will be gone. I can see him popping in for the odd cameo though, for like a visit.
No. Because remember, in the future, he said he never saw them again.
Well, no, because okay, fair enough, but like he implied that he never saw Felicity again after he left for boarding school, and that's bullshit because he came back for this episode.
Yeah, but this is it now, surely.
I don't know. I don't trust the writers. I don't trust the writers to hold up their end of the bargain.
Them because they know that this kid's shite, and they're like, let's get him off the show.
I don't know if they do. But we have a scene where Stanley uses this drug to paralyze people before he like attacks them, so they're easy prey, and he actually pumps gas into the apartment. Which, by the way, the security system actually says Green Arrow is home when Oliver walks in now, which is funny. I'll give them credit; it gave me a chuckle. But yeah, so he freezes Felicity, Oliver, and William. They're all sitting at the counter eating dinner or something.
It's chili, yeah. Oliver's cooked chili.
That's right. And they're all paralyzed. So Stanley comes walking in and is doing his creepy, serial killer.
Is a Star City Slayer bit.
Star City Slayer, yes. How can I forget? And because we find out that he's done this in the past, where he'll idolize someone like a big brother, and then he'll try and get close. He'll take away people in their life, and eventually, when he can't convince the person, he'll kill the person themselves. So ultimately, this is building up to him trying to kill Oliver.
He is gloriously psychotic.
Yes. Obviously, William gets enough feeling in his fingers to slide a bottle across to Oliver, who gets enough feeling to just whack him in the face, and that's kind of the end of it. But
yeah.
Diggle and Renee come running in at the last second. Basically useless. They're there for the aftermath.
Pretty much.
But
yeah, they're a bit shit.
Yeah, it is what it is. But there's a fight to be had. We see that Dinah's been training Zoe, in present day. She's been doing her kicks and whatnot.
Yeah.
And what was weird is she calls Dinah Black Canary, and Dinah's all like, "Oh, it's weird, everyone knowing who I am," and I'm like, Zoe,
she already knew.
Yeah, Zoe figured this out ages ago. That was like one of the best scenes of last season. It was her just being like, "I know you're all goddamn vigilantes, right? I know who you all are. Stop pretending."
Yeah.
So that was weird, but. I guess they're going for this drama where she's like starting to accept that people know who she is, but then the power gets taken away, so now she's not really Black Canary anymore.
I like that in theory.
Mm-hmm.
You just didn't have enough time where people know, because it was only at the end of last episode that people knew who she was.
Yeah. I'm till the end of one, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, give us a couple of episodes with a public, and having to go through that.
Also, is it weird, or is this just me that thinks it's strange that they all get deputized at the end of the last episode because Team Arrow's back together, and the very next episode, Curtis leaves. He just got a badge.
Yeah.
So who's actually deputized now? Does Diggle need to be deputized? He works for Argus.
No, because he's Argus, so he doesn't. He can just be a government liaison, essentially.
So it's Renee and Felicity.
Yeah, and Oliver.
Well, yeah, but he was already deputy. I just mean from like, the new deputies from last episode.
Yeah.
It's just
Renee
those two.
We'll have to draft Zoe.
Yeah, get Zoe a badge.
Let's do it.
They may have some concerns about her age.
How long till Black Siren?
Gets a badge?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I should point out, the cynic in me is that's the only reason that Dinah's throat got slashed. I'm saying, I don't think she can scream.
So we don't have two.
So we don't have two,
and
so that when they do their Birds of Prey team up, there's not two of them with that power.
So Dinah essentially becomes the Huntress by default because she doesn't have a power now.
Yeah. So we have
Felicity
Dinah as Huntress.
Felicity is Oracle.
And Evil Laurel
is Black Canary. Which I guess that's the closest one to being right.
Yeah, that one was passable, I suppose. I mean, to be honest, Dinah being black hair was probably the best scenario.
Well, yeah, but they've changed that now. So
Yeah, but they've screwed it. So what are you gonna do?
the question is, does she ever actually dress up again if she doesn't have the power? I mean, I guess if they're doing a Birds of Prey thing, she might.
Maybe just for appearance. You know,
Yeah.
the it looks like she's in control.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. Um, all in that, the future stuff. There was a bombshell dropped. In the future.
Yes,
That's
bombshell.
This Black Star lady,
Mia.
Mia, upon finding out that, which actually the best line of the episode, I have to, I can't skip over this. So Black Star and her crony, Connor Hawke, right? Which
crony, Diggle's kid.
Which, by the way, we did check. He was the same actor as the Legends episode when we saw Connor Hawke in the future. Although the future's clearly pretty different from that
Yeah, because
episode.
that was 2042, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I recall. What year are we in now in these flash forwards? Do we know?
I think it's 10 years. I'm sure it said 10 years.
Is that it?
No, it has to be more than that. Yeah, because I said this when you said it was Connor Hawke, because I was like, yeah, but wait a minute. Like, Zoe being 10 years older here makes about sense, but Diggle's kid's much, much younger than she is. So
yeah, just who knows?
I mean, if she's like 14 right now and she's 24 and the future stuff, then the oldest Diggle's kid would be like
14.
Nah, I'm only like 16, 17. He's a couple of years old now.
Is the kid that old?
Yeah, it's about two or three now. Yeah.
All right, and we're only going forward 10 years.
Remember, Flashpoint changed the kid, so the kid was already born before season 3 of Flash.
That's true. All right.
And he looks a lot older than 16.
It does. I'm going to double check it. I'm pretty sure I did check, but
You did. It was the same actor.
yeah. Well, I was too drunk to remember.
Anyway, so basically they've got them tied up, right? Roy's been useless. There's a bit of a fight scene when Roy's fighting them and stuff afterwards, and he's doing some flips. It's like good old days. Roy doing flips, but William's tied to a chair along with whoever else, and he mentions that he's looking for Felicity, and and Mia's like, "Oh, why do you want to find Felicity? Did you used to date her?" And he's like, "What? No, I'm gay, and she's my mum." That line broke me. And
Yeah.
do you know what I love about it? I love that a therapist could probably pick that apart and say, "Why did you specify that you were gay before specifying she was your mother?" I feel like the relationship with her is more important than your sexuality in this case.
Yeah. I mean, she was only his mum for about what, a year?
Are you saying she's for a game? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying she basically had no real significant impact on his life overall.
Not really, no. That's true. I feel like,
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
if someone has accused me of dating my father, my first thing to say would be, he's my father. Also, I'm not gay. But the first thing I would point out
Yeah.
is he's my father. The line just made me laugh. It was just a really funny line. But that's kind of leads to the eventual admission from her that she is Mia Smoke. She is Felicity's daughter. And then she says, "I'm your sister." And you're convinced that means that Oliver must be your father. I'm not 100% sure. The way she said it felt kind of fishy to me. Now, admittedly, I agree. Technically, they're not brother and sister if her father's not Oliver.
I say this because when she said, "Oh, Felicity's mom," she specifies and says, "Oh, Oliver Queen was your dad," right? She asks that first. So she it's not just that it's specifically that through that link as well.
Do you know what it is? I'm assuming the writers are incompetent enough that your argument doesn't matter.
I can't argue with that. They are pretty bloody incompetent.
I'm assuming that this is murky, and we're going to be going, wait, really? Because in the same way they were like, Felicity's not really his mum. Why would he say that? Like, based on this 1 year he spent with her, in 10 years, 15 years' time, he would be saying, "Oh yeah, Felicity's my mother." I don't think he would be.
No, that'd be weird. Especially when he spent. I mean, how old's William in the present day? About 14, 15?
Yeah, he spent like 12 of that with his real mother.
Yeah, exactly.
So he called Felicity his mother when he was with her for like a year, right after the death of his real mother. I don't know. That doesn't add up for me.
Shenanigans. I'm calling shenanigans.
Uh,
Not having it.
yeah. So,
Which the sad part is, you're probably right overall, but
I mean, I might not be.
Only because they're incompetent.
I might not be. I mean, maybe because Felicity and Oliver are married, so why would her last name not be Queen?
They got a divorce.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's how they'll explain it, but
Yeah, I mean, we know she starts up this. Is it Smoke Industries?
I think it was Industries, but yeah, something like that.
Whatever it was, Smoke something. So she reverted to using that name for a reason anyway. Probably, I mean, just so it's not associated with Queen, right?
So, yeah, but that's the thing. If we're going to get a divorce, that means we have to go through a whole breakup plot again.
Do you know what I hate about these flash forwards more than anything?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the showrunner has repeatedly said, no, this isn't like a future. This isn't something that might happen. This is the future. And I hate that because I'm like, ugh, now it's all pigeonholed into this bollocks.
I really hope, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I really hope the show goes another 10 seasons just so they have to deal with this when they get there.
Do you have any respect for my liver whatsoever?
None. Absolutely none.
That's fine, neither do I.
You'll be getting drunk watching Arrow in your mid to late 30s. Thank you very much.
I'm alright with that.
Oh dear. Yeah, that was Arrow. I mean, honestly, like I'll give it some credit. I was typically enjoying all the Stanley stuff, and maybe not in the way that it's supposed to be enjoyed. I was kind of laughing at it because I thought it was funny. But
yeah, I didn't think it was that good. The director clearly watched Seven the week before and went, "Oh, I can recreate that," and they couldn't.
Yeah. So it was fairly enjoyable in a so bad it's fun kind of way. More so than some episodes, because some episodes are just bad that they're dull.
Yeah,
this was kind of bad but funny. So
it was, but do you know what else was so bad? It was really funny.
Oh, it's not next.
Oh, is it not?
No. Black Lightning is after Arrow.
Oh, I forgot they bloody moved that.
Yeah, Black Lightning is next. We'll take us out of Black Lightning.
Oh, the pricks messing with the schedule.
Yeah. Oh, I never even told you. This is Star City Slayer, this episode, and it was season 7, episode 13. I never even said that at the start.
I don't even know if we did a spoiler warning, but who cares? Because it's Arrow.
So that takes out of Black Lightning, season 2, episode 13. It's called The Book of Secrets, chapter 3, Pillar of Fire. So Jennifer's out for blood. She's looking for Tobias, and this is actually surprisingly just want to help her. She's like, "Nah, I agree. We need to take care of Tobias. We'll do this together." And they've been doing testing to see what sort of suit that Jennifer will need. They've got her in that sphere, and Jefferson's not pleased to find out that his daughter's got the same amount of power as a nuclear bomb potentially. He's like, "You're telling my daughter's a walking nuclear bomb?" Well, no, not technically, but she has the power of one. Oh, that's great news.
Yeah, that makes me feel way better.
That's great news. So she goes out, and I like that when she goes to like beat up some gang members to try and find out where Tobias is. They think it's Nissa at first, not by name, but they assume it's
just because the way she got the hood up, the covering her face.
They think that she's there to steal money, because they think it's that it's what Nissa's been doing, and obviously she's not. And she's got good control of her power now to a point. She's like wrapping it around people and picking people up. Obviously she's not have complete control because she does eventually pass out from surging too much. But it is what it is because she gets surrounded at one point.
That's what she gets for going out on her own.
Well, I did think it did a good job of showing how kind of inexperienced she is, because she beats up this guy for information, and then when she gets to the location where this other guy is going to be, of course
there's an ambush.
Yeah, of course they were setting up an ambush because they knew she was coming.
He just phoned them and went, yeah, she's on her way. Yeah,
with lightning powers. So and this pops in to save the day and gets her out of Dodge, and that's kind of that. And then almost immediately from that, she ends up getting called in to help her mum because Tobias and crew are attacking the labs because they want the pod kids. They're getting Jace, who's now on full team villain, and they've woken up one of the older pod secret agent dudes. Oh, what was the name? It was Masters of Disaster was the group, but his name
Yeah.
was Shakedown. Was it Shakedown? I think it was Shakedown.
Might have been, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the group name because
that's a good
great
name.
name.
It's
Yeah.
a great name. It makes me think of Master Blaster.
Fair enough.
But yeah, Master of the Disaster. So he's not very happy, but Tobias has got he's watched that controls him and can kill him potentially, so it keeps him in line. And him and Cutter go in to get the kids, and you're actually kind of worried about Lynn because Lynn's like there, like, and you can see them coming down the hall. It's almost like did Jace actually intentionally save her by shutting the shutter doors, like the emergency doors? It's hard to say because
She might have done.
does she just not want her? Because at first all she was like kind of excited. Oh, she's in trouble and she hates me and she's going to get killed in a minute. Oh, I'm going to enjoy this. And then she like shuts the blast doors and I'm like, did she do that to save her because she's not completely evil? Even though in the like 2 scenes later she's like, yeah, I mean we might lose a couple of kids if we rush this, but I'm fine either way.
See, this is the thing though. I think she's evil in the sense of she's willing to pay the price for experiments. She wants, she wants to do a research, and if some kids die on the way, whatever. I don't think she outright wants to just murder random people, though.
That's fair. But I like how she interacts with Cutter and Tobias. She's very sure of herself. And then Lynn like has the one pod kid that she's experimenting on with the silver stuff from the previous arc, and wakes up. I think her name was Wendy, but it was the wind powers from earlier in the season. And so they have one pod kid saved. Locally.
One's good enough.
One's
for now.
good enough, yeah. And Tobias is building an army / building, basically merchandise. He's going to be selling metas to people.
What's the name of the kid he gets with the magnetism powers?
The magnetism powers?
Yeah, the vibration stuff.
I mean, Shakedown.
Shakedown. Yeah. That's the thing. Like the way he uses that is really cool.
Or Marcus Bishop. Was his
that's what's the actual name.
Yeah.
I really like the powers.
Yeah, they're cool. Because he's got Cutter's knife turned around and he's got it going into her, and Tobias like just sort of smirks and watches this for ages, and it's not until the very last second he uses the watch to stop him, and Cutter's like, you could have done that like a minute earlier. Yeah,
it's weird that everyone has really fancy watches. Because Gambi's has got a Geiger counter.
That's true, yes. Which Henderson's very amused by, because Henderson even calls him in and gives him like a fake, CSI jacket so that he'll blend in to try and figure out what these mystery pods were beneath. Because they don't know they're pods for sure at the start, but obviously by the end they kind of figure out, it was these pods of these people.
Yeah.
And that's all cool. Yeah, I dug this episode quite a bit. I have a couple of nitpicks, but like I actually really enjoyed pretty much all of this one.
Yeah, I think it was pretty solid.
Here's a nitpick.
Pacing issues.
A couple of pacing issues. My main nitpick is actually right at the very end. So they killed Todd, which A, I'm upset about because I like Todd, and B, I thought it was weird that they clearly didn't have the actor for this episode because you never saw his face. You just saw his hand hanging out the car, and then the car exploded. Now, this could be so they could swerve us later on and tell us that it wasn't really him, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels like they just killed Todd, but they didn't want to pay the actor for one more episode, so they just didn't show. Because it felt weird to kill him in an episode we never saw him.
It did.
It was really weird.
It was weird.
But nitpick.
Sad to see him gone though.
That's because I liked his interaction with the others.
He has charisma.
Yeah, he really does. But hey, we got him for like 4 episodes, so hey ho.
I'll tell you what I can get.
Cutter and Tobias are getting frisky with one another again.
Yes.
So that's all gone. And she caught him talking to his sister, the Peyton. And it plays just vague enough that it's like, no, he's just talking to the Peyton. He knows what he's doing. But I'm sitting going, no, he's actually batshit insane. He's talking to that Peyton like she's actually talking back to him.
Or is she? Are you sure she's not?
I mean, I'm not 100%, but...
Yeah, that's the thing on this show. I can't be 100% sure. I mean, I don't think she is. I think he's just crazy. But I'm just saying there is a possibility.
I do like Tobias. Tobias is... I think Tobias might be the best villain that any of these CW shows have had. And just actor for actor, pound for pound, in terms of...
I'm just considering the options. Because, I mean, what it comes down to is he better than Prometheus?
Shut up! He's way better than Prometheus. Just because he doesn't have that stupid bit of music that comes with
I can't
Prometheus.
believe I got through that with a straight face. No, in all seriousness, he's up against what? Reverse Flash from season 1.
A Flash, and arguably, like, he's diminished over the years with more appearances and
Yeah,
like current Reverse Flash in season 5. He's honestly kind of hamming it up a little bit. He's been kind of
he
rough.
is. I would say maybe Damien Dark in Legends specifically. It's probably is probably my favorite other than Tobias. It's the only one that
Yeah, he's on the better end of the spectrum, but like I don't think he measures Tobias. Yeah.
I agree.
Tobias easily is kind of winning.
Yeah.
I think the more interesting comparison would be to maybe someone like on Krypton. I don't want to say it because a spoiler in case you've not watched Krypton yet. But
I'm not ready to say that he is better yet. Not had enough of
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying. I think the comparison could be there once we get season 2.
Yeah. I agree with that.
But
because obviously there was no one in Titans comparable.
I don't know. I quite like the Nuclear Family. They were a hoot.
Yeah, maybe Doom Patrol will give us a nice strong villain.
Well, Mr. Nobody's.
Yeah, we got Mr. Alan Tudyk himself.
Is he Mr. Nobody? I forgot.
I believe so. Yeah.
Oh, you're right. I remember that news now. Actually, that you've mentioned it, but I'd forgotten about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, of course we're forgetting Cicada here. Cicada's.
Oh, don't worry. We will talk about the glory of Cicada in a minute.
Every meta will die. Anyway. So no, I think that. And then the other stuff with Jefferson is that his students are like, hey, you should be principal again. This principal got shit. And then it turns out that video that Jen was, when Jen was standing up to him, that went viral a little bit, and they're getting a lot of heat politically and publicly. And the board is kind of ready to give Jefferson his job back. And Jefferson has an interaction with this Principal Lowry. And the funny thing is that Lowry's still a complete dick in this scene. He makes a lot of really shitty points that don't really have any merit. The only thing he says of any merit is the idea of the stability that Jefferson can't maybe provide because he's also Black Lightning, because he has to be able to run off and do things like that. So ultimately Jefferson kind of sticks up for him a little bit in his meeting with the board and decides not to become principal again.
Do you know what frustrates me about this though?
Mm-hmm.
Is Lowry is clearly the wrong person for the job. Jefferson knows this. And even if Jefferson's like, do you know what, I can't do it myself, he could recommend someone more appropriate.
Yeah, because I think there's an argument to be made that Jefferson maybe isn't the right person for the job because of what he also does. But I also think it's undisputable that Lowry is not the person for the job in any way, shape, or form.
Exactly, and that's what kind of bothers me about this a little bit, is that it comes across like we're supposed to be, Jefferson's being really selfless and he knows what he's supposed to be doing, right? He knows that he's not there for the kids when he should be. I'm like, yeah, but he could make this so much better. Yeah.
It's just weird. I mean, I think I'll read it as because he just has this sort of thought in the moment. It's not like he goes in there planning this. He kind of he has this little flashback. I wasn't
a fan of the little flashback moment either.
Yeah, that'd be one of my nitpicks. That moment felt a little bit.
It was a bit much, wasn't it? It was just him sat there thinking about it. Was kind of enough to get given we literally just had that conversation with Lowry.
Yeah,
it was enough to understand what he was thinking.
Yeah. So I'm okay with the development overall. Him deciding not to be principal because he understands that he's devoting himself to other things more and more, so he can't really commit to it.
He can't be there full time like he needs to be.
Yeah, but Lowry's definitely not the person for the job though. He's that entire conversation. Jefferson wants to try and help the kids and try and because as Jefferson puts it, I thought this was a really good way of phrasing it. Is that Lowry's got this hard line in the sand, but he doesn't. Once they've went over that line, he's like, well, they're not my problem now.
Problem,
go away. So I was like, that was a really good point. That's exactly the problem with his style, outside of him just being a bit of a dick, generally.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a kind of a slightly weird development, but overall, I was really positive on this episode. I think it's one of the best episodes of the season. Everything with Tobias getting these metas, him being all like, "Oh, I'm going to sell metas to Markovians and everyone else," and that stuff, the stuff with Jen, I thought was really good.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. We had the stuff with Grace kind of just ticking along in the background as well.
Yeah, that's true. We learned some stuff about her, about how it's not a real name, how she was in foster care, she was sold to a prostitution ring as a teenager. We hear all these things. Obviously, Nis is mortified by all this stuff.
Yeah,
and
it's all fine. I think these are some of the elements that detract from the pacing of the episode a little bit.
yeah, there's nothing wrong with them in and of themselves. I'm sure when we get to dealing with this, probably
Yeah,
soon.
they're fine in context of the overall story. They're fine as individual scenes. Just when they happen in this episode, because obviously they're not adding anything to this episode specifically, it feels like it's taking away from the pace that we've got going.
I guess it's a case of they want to try and balance it by giving Nissa her own plot because the other three main characters of the family do in this episode.
Yeah, I get that, but
at least to a point.
No,
Lynn arguably doesn't have her own plot so much as she gets caught up in the Tobias plot. But
she does. But that, I mean, if you count the Tobias plot as Lynn's plot as well, I would. Then yeah, and I think what I would say is they don't all need their own plot every episode. It's fine for one of them to not have their plot. You know, Nissa can show up and help out Jen, right? That's fine. I don't know. It's just me.
I don't have too much of a problem with this though. I don't really have a problem with the pacing of that stuff so much. My nitpicks would be how weird it felt like how Todd was kind of not in the episode and then get killed at the end.
Yeah.
And then you know, maybe some of the logic of the principal stuff. With Jefferson. That'd be my only real nitpicks. Everything else I thought was kind of, you know, it was kind of an action-packed episode. There was a lot going on.
Yeah, it was a very solid episode. It wasn't like above and beyond. I think this is what I would expect as the baseline quality from this show. Like this is what if I think of a standard episode of Black Lightning, this is about on par with what I expect. That's a good thing because it's obviously I'm mostly pretty positive here. That's a reasonably solid level to go in and expect.
Yeah. All right, that's Black Lightning then. All right, well,
I'm drinking on reflex just thinking about it.
We're going to talk about The Flash, season 5, episode 14. It's called Cause and Excess.
Oh, lots of excess.
Joe, it's funny. It's weird that we have another episode with very little Barry, because we just did that one where he was in the cell for most of the episode, and that was kind of funny. And I actually appreciate having episodes where they let other characters take the reign. And Joe, the thing is I don't even hate the premise of this episode. I actually think this had the most fun premise of any Flash episode in a long time. You know, this season. I'd have to go quite far back, I think, into the early part of the season to think of one that had a fun core premise like this one did. Now, that doesn't mean I think it was good. It was definitely the most fun I had in a long time because we were laughing hysterically at this.
Yeah, it was funny.
It was funny.
I'm not sure it was intentionally funny.
There was some intentional humour here.
Some were, but
all the stuff with Ralph coming out with the book at the start and seeing that over and over again in the different ways, that was intentionally funny.
I'm not sure all of Nora's stupidity was supposed to be as funny as we found it.
The first one didn't even feel like stupidity. It felt more like
selfishness.
I mean, that's a word for it. I was going to go maybe a step further and go outright cowardice. Because so the premise of this episode overall is that Cicada shows up at Iris's office because of course Iris took on Cicada last week and won and made an ultimatum and has made this grand statement of not ultimatum.
We will beat you.
We will beat you, right? And
do you know the only reason I remember that is because I heard it about 9 bloody times in this episode.
But he shows up at Iris's office, right? And just a side note here before I get to the rest of this premise, the way this was shot was really confusing to me, and I think you agreed with this.
Oh yeah, because I thought the same thing.
So the way he showed up behind her at the door, and then she turned around and it sort of got really panicky, and then it quickly cut to her face or whatever again. I thought he wasn't really there. I thought this was she's being paranoid and seeing him everywhere kind of thing, like they do sometimes, right?
Yeah, and especially because Barry's not there. Yeah. Right? That's what's triggered it now.
And it was the way it was filmed, it felt like that. And then it cut to the next scene and she's tied up on the roof and I'm like, oh, he actually is there. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. That was really weird.
Yeah, it was just the direction. It was the way it was filmed. It felt like it was telling us something different, but because it felt like he disappeared. It felt like when she turned around he wasn't there anymore, but I guess he still was.
I guess, yeah.
Maybe it was even the shot they got of her. Her reaction just felt like he's not really there. It felt like relief because I thought I sensed him, and he's gone.
Yeah,
But whatever.
it was awkward editing.
But anyway, so he's got Iris up on the roof, but Iris got a SOS out on the phone to the team beforehand. So in comes running XS and Killer Frost, who go up on the roof, and before they actually arrive on the roof, Cicada throws out his dagger, right, like a boomerang.
Yeah.
And the others arrive on the roof. XS brings Killer Frost up with her, and the dagger circles back round and is coming in behind them. And Nora sees it coming with her super speed. And of course, I think naturally what she's going to do with her super speed is run Caitlin out of the way.
Just grab the dagger out the air.
I think we've established they can't do that with the dagger because the dagger's dark matter and it messes with her powers.
All right, fine.
So we'll roll with that. But with her super speed, grab Caitlin and move, right?
At least shout a warning to Caitlin.
Well, no, even that's just as stupid though. She's fast enough. This dagger's not going super speed.
No. It is. I'm saying at least she could have done something.
Do you know what she does instead? She ducks, and the dagger misses XS and hits Caitlin in the back, and Caitlin dies. That is the moment, and it made both of us burst out laughing because it was absolutely ridiculous. Why did she duck, and then she looks around and is shocked that it hit Caitlin, like, oh my god.
Oh, I didn't know you were there.
Whoa, I didn't see you standing there. Oh, now I feel bad. So Nora runs back in time. She runs back in time.
So begins our Hedgehog Day episode.
Yes, the loop. She runs back in time, and she runs back to just the moment before Ralph comes in with the book of Ralph, and just before Iris leaves to go to the office. Just that scene, right, where everyone kind of breaks up. And later on, it's kind of explained that she can't go any further back than that. That she always comes back to that moment.
Shenanigans.
Well, I think we theorize it's because Barry was doing timey-wimey stuff already in the Speed Force.
Yeah. My only way I can think about it is, so they go back through the Speed Force, yada yada yada, because Barry entered the Speed Force at that point. Just before she gets back, she can't go back further than that because he's in the Speed Force, so that has to happen.
Yes, because Speed Force, bro.
Exactly.
Ain't got to explain shit.
What are you gonna do?
And I'm like, okay, fine.
They don't explain shit. They just go, fixed point, legends. What are you gonna do?
And that moment, yeah, that's the thing. But later on, when the rest of the characters finally find out this is happening, Ralph says, "Oh, this must be one of those fixed points the legends always talk about." And I'm like, wait, they're using legends logic.
What legends? I love legends, but there is no logic to it.
But that's something they've mentioned in legends a lot. So I mean, I appreciate them bringing it up. So here's the thing. Because I guess that's how they're trying to explain why she can't go back further, is because like this overall event has to happen, even though it doesn't, because they fix it by the end of the episode. But anyway, so begins the loop where she comes back and then she convinces Iris not to go to the office, stay here. But of course, Ralph goes back to his office, and this is the thing. Connor said this is bullshit. Why is Cicada going after someone different? And I said, no, wait, he's in the same location. His office is across the hall.
That's fair. I conceded.
Yeah. So this time he kidnaps Ralph, but Ralph gets an SOS out. So of course, Nora runs in.
And she's learned this time. The dagger's going to hit Caitlin. Let's get her out of the way.
So she moves Caitlin out of the way, and the dagger just flies past where they are and hits Ralph in the back, and he drops dead. And this is where I just started bawling with laughter. This was hilarious. This was over and over again.
Glorious.
Nora failing and someone dying because of it. And every time someone died, I laughed because every time it was funny.
It was. It was always funny.
And then, of course, there was one where, it happened to Cisco, where, he breached and then it came through.
He breached in as he got there.
Yeah. It was gold. And, I did laugh. I think there was an intentional joke moment where, when she finally, tells them, because they kind of realise, okay, timey-wimey stuff's happening. Cisco's been vibing all the previous timelines, kind of like he did when he got killed by Reverse Flash. And she's like, okay, I've been going back and over again to try and fix this, but no matter what I do, someone dies. And, oh, how many times you went back? And she's like, 52. I think that was an intentional joke, because 52 is an important number in DC.
It is, yeah.
So I'll give them that one. That was funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
So naturally, it's like, okay, so now we have to outthink Cicada. And,
Do you know what really makes me struggle with this episode is there is no reason for her not to just tell them after the first attempt.
No, there isn't. There really isn't. She like comes in all panicky and she's looking at her journal and she's trying to figure things out and be brainy. It's like, why not just tell them that one of them died and you came back in time to fix it, so they can all work together to solve the problem?
Yeah, one of the drinking rules we established for Flash is every time Nora learns her lesson at the end of the episode, have a nice big drink. And I feel like we've been saying that Nora's not been as bad as Ralph last season in that it's been different lessons.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This is the line. Nora has to trust the team. I feel like we've done that one already.
Yeah. I guess this plays into the whole, like, she can't tell them who she's working with thing. Because I did kind of like the scene where Cisco mentions, oh yeah, I've had these kind of flashbacks to a previous timeline before because Reverse Flash killed me. And like Nora's sitting there going, oh, didn't know about
that. Yeah.
Oh dear. So they think of a plan to beat Cicada.
I think one of the funniest ones for me is, so obviously we go through a few of them. It's like, after Iris and Ralph, we were like, okay, but how are they getting someone to the office now? And Sherlock goes, and it's like, okay, fine.
Yeah, because Sherlock's investigating. Why doesn't Nora want Iris to go to the office? So he goes to investigate, and then Cicada gets him. And then after that, he sees the photos of the family because no one's there, so he goes and kidnaps Cecile.
Yes. Now this is where I have problems. So he gets Cecile from, presumably her and Joe's home.
Yes.
And brings her back to this office building to tie her up on the roof. What? And you were like, we don't know it's that building. He could have been taking them somewhere else the whole time.
Yeah,
but then
I said
later
that
on,
there.
later on, it clearly showed us. No.
This is
just upstairs from their offices.
Because the roof of her house wasn't good enough for this showdown. He wanted the heroes to come.
But what? He just carried her here?
Sure, why not?
He
can fly.
Yeah, but he's not that strong.
Yeah, she's not that heavy.
No, I know he can carry her, but like, it's then he's got to carry her there as well. It's distance, right? I don't know. I just feel like it was weird.
For all the problems that I could have with this episode, but him choosing to bring her back to this same roof is not really one of my problems.
It really bothered me because everyone else is fine. They're at that building. You go up to the roof. You're going up a floor. Fine, whatever. This one's weird. He's gone halfway across the city probably to bring her back to this roof.
You have no idea how far away their house is.
I said probably.
You have nothing to back up the word probably.
Potentially. Is that better?
That's
halfway
better.
Across the city, potentially.
Yeah, as well. I'm going to be honest. I actually forget what they did to win. I remember Sherlock giving a lot of nonsense Speed Force like science.
Oh, I remember.
Oh, go on.
And I was hammered at this point, so it's a miracle I remember.
Yeah, go on then. What is it?
Nora slows down time.
Ah, that's right. She reverses the dagger.
She rewinds it a little bit, Superman the movie style.
Mm-hmm.
And then just makes it slow, and then gives Cicada a little push, not off the building, don't want to kill him, but just a little shove so he's off balance, and the knife goes into his own back. Oh no, into his shoulder.
Into his shoulder, yeah. And then he flies off again with his dagger. Although somehow this visual effect looked even worse than it did the last time we saw it.
Which, okay, problem here is that's the moment that proved to me this episode was worthless filler. As if the rest of it wasn't anyway. But that moment, literally the last time we saw him, he just flew off with his dagger. Like, it's like, right, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And we've just done it again. Like, all right, I'm out of here. What did we accomplish? What did we learn?
Well, nothing, but why is that a complaint in this episode when I'd say like half of Flash's episodes have this problem? Because
this one is it's more.
I don't think him flying off at the end is a symptom of that problem though. If they've established he can do it, then I'd complain that he didn't do it again to get out of a situation.
No, okay, it's a problem in this episode specifically because this episode is very much dealing with Cicada. I can forgive it in a lot of the ones that aren't dealing with him because it's like, okay, this is the filler episode. If we're dealing with Cicada as the villain in the episode, I expect some level of advancement, at least a little bit. Whereas here we got nothing. And repeating the ending from last time, just like, all right, he's out of here. It feels extra cheap to me.
I mean, I don't know what you want me to say.
No, I don't want you to defend it. I just want to rant. Just
I don't know what you want me to say.
I just want to rant about it.
Is it like I'll stick up for it just in so much as I enjoyed this more than the last like 8 episodes combined because it was funny.
Yeah, but it was bad funny.
Yeah, it was bad funny, but at least I had
enjoyed
fun.
it more. Yeah, no,
I was having fun with it because it was bad funny. The
we
last like 8 were boring as shit.
They really were. Yeah.
I welcome bad funny at this point. Bad funny is entertaining.
No, you're right. If it's gonna be shit, it might as well be really shit.
Yeah, maybe fun. It may as well be funny shit. Because there's such a thing as tedious shit, and I don't want tedious shit. Like, because as much as Arrow can be funny bad occasionally, I'd say a good 2/3 of the episodes are just tedious shit.
Yeah.
You know,
I'd say Flash is falling into that same sort of kind of rough ratio these days.
It probably has, but like, at least this one was making me laugh. Like, I was in hysterics at a couple of points in this.
Yeah, me too.
So I mean, I'll give it. I mean, I don't know if it's credit I'm giving it per se, but like,
this is I think why I'm arguing with you a little bit, because it feels weird to give it credit for being so bad it's funny.
Well, no, I'm not giving it credit. I just thought your specific complaint was weird.
Okay, fine. It annoyed me. What do you want me to say?
There's a lot wrong with the episode, but your specific complaint was weird.
All right.
Because it is worthless. There is no advancement. I don't think him flying off at the end though is part of that problem. I
think the fact that they went so far as to repeat I'll just fly.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. When he did that at the end, I was almost impressed that they remembered they could do it. Because this is exactly the sort of thing the Flash writers forget. And then I'm like, why didn't he just do that again?
Yes, but here's the thing is, they know he can do that. Why didn't they stop him?
How would they stop him?
Grab onto him for a start. That might help. Cisco could put a little breach above his head. When he flies up, because they had some portal style action in the bit where for some reason while Nora's reversing time, she has to run through all their powers, give Ralph a little stretchy arm, and she does some portal style action where instead of just turning at 90 degrees, she goes through one portal and comes out the next one with the breaches.
Yeah,
and just put one above his head.
Yeah, but okay, so you get him to come back down because you portal him back down to where you are. Then what?
Just portal him into the pipeline.
Can he make a portal into the pipeline?
Why not?
Doesn't the other end of the pipeline negate the possibility of a metapower opening?
Yeah, maybe. That's fair. There's got to be somewhere they could portal him into that would just temporarily do the trick, that he can't fly out into a building where he can't just fly out of. I mean, is that too much to ask?
I can't remember what mindset Cisco was in the moment. I feel like, yes, there's nothing wrong with this plan in theory, but I don't know.
But see, this is the thing. It's not about the mindset in the moment. They were planning exactly what they were going to do to stop him.
Look, Flash characters are idiots on a regular basis. I don't know why this one's bothering you any more than every other episode where they make
because it was
decisions.
Last episode that they learnt that he could do this.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. You're right.
It was like 4 or 5 episodes ago.
You're right. It was.
It was before Christmas. It was before the crossover.
He's done it again since then, hasn't he?
Yeah, but the time that your argument is they just learned he did this. They learned he did this at the hospital before the crossover.
They did. So my point is, they know he can do this. They know that if they've got him cornered, he's going to fly off. They're going into this preparing. They're planning this. This isn't just let's just get, let's just see how it goes, spur of the moment. This is meticulously planned. This is your exact opportunity to plan your capture. But what do they do? Oh, fuck it, just let him fly off. Who cares?
Yeah, but then you'd have to not have the villain for the rest of the season.
Ooh, I wonder what that could be like.
And, well, no, you don't have to wonder, because Arrow's been doing that.
It has. And also, we have another villain in the waiting, so, I mean, I'm okay with them just getting rid of Cicada.
Do we?
I mean, Reverse Flash.
Alright. I wasn't really thinking of him.
I mean, kind of is just there waiting.
Oh, he's dying, though.
Yeah, but he's still going to be a villain.
He's just in the cell hamming it up and kind of ruining every memory we had of Reverse Flash.
He is a little bit.
It's not good. I was laughing a lot. I was.
Oh well, so was I.
I mean, ultimately, like, I've stopped giving a shit about these weird decisions they make, because at least these types of decisions, because like this goes back to like, why does Barry not just chase after every villain who runs away from him, right? Since episode 1, every other episode this happens where it's like, he's the Flash, you can go get them. You just, at this point I'm just numb to it. Here's a new thing I want to specifically play about in this episode though.
There's new stuff?
This is a trope that's not just the Flash that's guilty of, but
okay.
So there's a subplot with Cisco, right? Where on this time loop element, he's on a date with this girl that he met at the bar. Last episode. Well, not last episode, because he was missing last episode. The episode before that. Where so he's on the date with this woman, and because he's taking advice from Ralph, he's looking through like her past boyfriends or whoever from Facebook. He comes in dressed like in a really suave suit, and he's got his hair all slick tied back, and he's pretending he's a businessman. And he kind of like offends her by being a douchebag, and she's like kind of like hates him for it. And then, you know, the time loop resets, and then he like sees a different photo this time, so he goes in as a gym nut where he's like all in fitness clothes, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry I'm late, I was at the gym, and there's a whole thing. And he goes through a couple of different things, right? He has one that's like a hipster who like is obsessed with Instagram, all these things.
So, I wanted to punch him so bad in that one.
I hate this trope that TV shows do, especially when it's not like, maybe in like a just full on comedy I can maybe accept it, because, you know, comedies can be a little bit ridiculous, but
yeah.
So I'm supposed to buy that Cisco thinks pretending to be someone he's not, and more to the point, pretending he has a job that he doesn't have is in any way a good idea. Like, why do TV writers do this all the time? Where, like, if this does succeed and you get to a second and third and fourth date, eventually you're going to have to come clean about the fact that your job is actually X thing. I just don't understand this logic.
It's so severe, because I get, like, you know, in reality, okay, maybe you're not exactly yourself on a first date, right? You just sand off the edges, right? You're a toned down version usually, right?
Oh, in your case, that's a lot of edges, but yeah.
Screw you. But yeah, don't go as far as to go invent a whole different job or entire personality.
Yeah, like, and if you tell me like someone who's really stupid like Ralph will do this, okay, fine, I might buy it to a point. Especially if it's meant to be like a one night stand thing where he has no intention of seeing her again.
Yeah,
whatever.
Classic Ralph.
Right? But like, Cisco's not this stupid. He shouldn't be this stupid. But for some reason he's acting like a complete idiot in this episode, and I don't know why.
Yeah, they give some bullshit reasoning to do with him feeling weird after Gypsy. I don't really remember.
Yeah, but it
was giving him a heart-to-heart with Nora.
It's one of those TV tropes that I just can't accept. Like, it's just the character just doesn't make sense. No human being is this dumb.
No, they're not.
It's
maddening.
And I mean, I feel like, yeah, it's probably just there so we can laugh at him being all these different like versions of himself. And yeah, I got an odd chuckle out of some of his stupid outfits when he first walked in. But
yeah,
it wasn't worth.
Then the scene gets tedious because it's the same scene we've seen already, except he's in a different outfit.
Yes, and he's doing a different kind of douchebag. They're all douchebags.
Yeah.
Every single one's a douchebag. They're just douchebags obsessed with different things.
Yeah.
But then, of course, he's eventually himself, and she likes him because he's himself. Because she doesn't want to date someone.
Who'd have thought?
She doesn't want to date someone she already dated. There's a reason why she broke up with all these dudes. She wants science nerd Cisco.
Apparently.
And so, yeah, that's kind of it. So, Barry just kind of shows up at the end, because basically the reason why he was missing is because the metahuman cure was going to take like a month to work, but if it was supercharged through the Speed Force for an hour, then it would be ready to go. I
mean, they're taking nearly a month off anyway, so I mean, might as well have just left it out.
I thought it was early March it comes back.
It is. I'm exaggerating for comic effect.
Okay, so it's more like 2 weeks.
It's taking like 2 or 3 weeks, but whatever.
So, yeah. So Barry pops out at the end and is like, "Hey guys, I'm back. Did I miss anything?" And they all just kind of stare at him like, "Yeah, Barry. God damn it. Your stupid daughter got us all killed."
A lot.
Yeah. And then he has the gall to like try and explain to her, oh, time travel's dangerous, Nora.
I am a little bit annoyed that there wasn't seemingly any consequence. 52 bloody times she changed things.
Technically 53, including the new one.
No, she was in the 53rd timeline, so she changed things 52 times.
Sure, but the joke in
She didn't... Yeah, all right, fine. Whatever. 52, 53. Make up your mind. I don't care. Either way, where are the bloody consequences? Barry screws up once and the whole world goes to hell.
Well, we don't really know what the consequences are because we can't yet.
All right, fine.
Because the thing with Barry screwing up the timeline was he did it in the past, so he came back to the present day and was like, "Oh, here's all these changes." Nora's changing stuff we haven't seen yet because it's the future.
Fair enough. There better be some though. Someone else better die. She better die. Barry better die. Someone better die.
Mm-hmm.
Look, all I'm saying is, we are owed a life. Someone didn't die this episode, whether it was Caitlin originally or Ralph. Take your pick. Someone needs to die. That's the rules.
It'll be Cicada.
Don't even. That's not a consequence. That's a victory.
So what's going to happen next season? I'm calling it now.
What?
All the villains who've already died are going to come back, and we're going to get a team up of Cicada, the Thinker, Zoom, Reverse Flash, and Prometheus.
As long as I get my music sting, I'm all for it.
For who?
Prometheus.
Oh, not Prometheus. Savitar, that's what I meant.
How dare you? How dare you sully the good name of Prometheus?
Well, didn't you think it was weird that I only mentioned one Arrow villain?
I did think it was weird, but I thought you were just throwing me a bone.
No.
You're just like, oh, you like Prometheus. We'll have Prometheus too.
No, I'll Savitar.
He'll be the mastermind. Because he's 10 steps ahead.
I feel like him and Zoom, like him and Fake J, would get on really well. I think that would be a pair in the making. Oh dear. Yeah. So Flash was terrible, but it was at least funny terrible, and I at least appreciate that this episode had a gimmick, had a concept. It was like, okay, we're doing this time loop thing. That's a plot. That's an episode plot idea. I feel like the last 4 or 5 have all been just middling kind of things. It's like, Barry and Ralph are going to go undercover without powers into Goldface's smuggling ring. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it does highlight the quality disparity between this show and Legends, though, when you look at the 2 time loops next to each other.
Oh sure, yeah, that's the 2 much better time loop episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Flash is in a rough place.
Yeah, it is.
It's in a really rough place. So that is episode 14 of The Flash. Oh, Batman. We do have one more thing.
We do, yeah. I was wondering what you were hesitating for.
Yeah, I thought we were done there. We went so long on Flash, I thought we were ready to wrap up. But no, we do actually have one episode of Batman the Animated Series to round out the show. We're on POV, which is episode 7, I believe, of Batman the Animated Series. So this is an episode... Montoya's been in a couple of episodes already, I'm sure, but this is where we really get to know her a little bit, because she has plot. We get this thing where something goes down at a warehouse where there was meant to be a police arrest. Bullock's there, Montoya there, and then this other rookie guy's there. And essentially they're getting grilled by a lieutenant after the fact to try and figure out what happened. So Bullock tells his version of the story, Montoya tells hers, the other guy tells his. Yeah. And we get all these things. And Batman was there, and it's like, what did Batman do? And Bullock's pretty funny because he keeps blaming Batman, saying Batman screwed things up. But it's Bullock who tripped on a can that alerted the bad guys.
There was a noise that alerted them. And obviously, as I say this, we're seeing him trip over this and make this clank. He's like, it must have been Batman.
Yeah. And then at the end, when the place is burning down, he's like, I had to carry Batman out and save his life. But we see, of course, Batman's carrying him out.
Naturally.
Yes, it's all very funny. It's a fun episode. It's not like a super memorable episode. I think it suffers from the actual villain not being that interesting.
I really like 2/3 of this episode. So the opening, all the Rashomon point of view stuff, I really like. Montoya following up and doing her bit of the investigation.
Off the books, because she's not a cop. Because they all get their badges taken.
Yeah, I really like all that. And then we get to oh, Batman's free now. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
It's fine. It's fine, but
really,
it's just
he'll fight the bad guys for 5 minutes, and then that'll be the end of the episode.
yeah. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But it's significantly less interesting than the rest of the episode.
Yeah, it feels like it betrays what the episode was doing up until that point.
Because it is a Batman cartoon. I guess we should do some Batman action.
Because it's fine when Montoya saves him at the start of that stuff, where she like sort of hits the guy with a gun who's going to shoot him. It's like, okay, yes, Montoya's like equally important here, and then she's not. Then she just sort of shifts into the background.
The minute Batman clips on that belt,
yeah,
that's it. It's just
Batman
5 minutes of Batman wailing on some villains, which is fine. Looks good. It's
yeah.
Yeah,
and it's not that we don't want to see Batman do things. It's Batman's show. It's just that this episode clearly sets it up to be more Montoya's episode with Bullock supporting and that kind of thing. And it feels weird to just kind of shift to him for the last like 5 minutes. Yeah. And at the very end of the episode, Montoya gets her badges back and she hands them back to the other guys, including Bullock. She's like, it's our collar. It was a team effort. And I'm like, no, it wasn't.
No, it really was. It was all her.
It was you. And Batman.
And Batman.
Yeah. It was a team effort with you and Batman. That's about it. I did enjoy Gordon sticking up for his cops and like grilling the lieutenant repeatedly. That was
fun. Yeah,
that was delightful. So yeah, it was maybe a weaker episode, but not a bad episode.
I do think if the last 5 minutes had stayed true, this would be a truly memorable episode. But unfortunately, it's kind of not.
I think the most interesting thing about it, watching it now, is again Montoya was in an episode before now, but this was obviously clearly the most time she's gotten. I think this is the first time we heard her name. Maybe I don't know if we got her name before.
Yeah.
But this is like it's funny to think about now, but like this is where Montoya came from. Like
this is basically her introduction.
Yeah, so it's just kind of funny to think of like how much of a big character Montoya is now, where. She was on Gotham briefly, but just I think in the comics, like she was a mainstay in Batman for a long time. She was a main character in Gotham Central. We did all this plot with her being gay, with her dating Batwoman. She's a regular character in Batwoman stories now because of that. Like she's such a mainstay of the Gotham world. It's just kind of funny to go, and Bullock as well actually. But it's just really funny to go back to this now and see like the origin and the fact that only 7 episodes in the production order. They were willing to devote an episode to these characters who, at the time, were just kind of their creation.
Nobody's really, it's bold. So I think it's I can see why someone saw this and went, yeah, let's do something with Montoya.
Yeah. So that's why that was more what was going through my head more than anything. This episode was just kind of I was impressed. I was like, yeah, I mean, like, I think Bullock immediately had a strong character. Montoya, I feel like maybe is a bit more plain right in this compared to what she becomes, where she's more defined.
Yeah, I think Bullock had a few comic appearances before this, but it was this that properly cemented who Bullock was. And I think immediately from that first episode, Bullock was like, yeah, okay, he's brash, he's loud, we got that immediately. So he stands out. Whereas Montoya, naturally is a bit more subdued, so you need to spend this time on her to get that sort of impact. Yeah. I think it does a pretty good job with that side of it.
Yeah, place in history and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was that episode of the animated series. So let's say next week I'll have a very different lineup because Flash and Arrow are on break, as is Black Lightning, and then we're getting Supergirl back, and we're getting Doom Patrol. So we will have some archive stuff next week. We'll have an episode of Gotham, an episode of The Flash from the 90s, and an episode of Batman the Animated Series. Yes. So I can look forward to that. But as we mentioned at the start, Doom Patrol, because it's in episode 1, will be up much earlier on YouTube before it's in the podcast.
Hopefully Friday, late Friday. If not, it'll be sometime Saturday.
Yeah, but hopefully it'll be late Friday, and you can go check that out. It is competing with a new Netflix show as well at the same time because we're doing Umbrella Academy on Friday too.
Yeah, also based on a comic.
Also based on a comic. Yeah. So check out that. But otherwise, that is us. I mean, I guess we pick our favorite of the week, but it's Black Lightning, right? I mean,
are you kidding me? Flash? I had more fun with Flash than I did with Black Lightning.
Are you being serious right now?
No. Black Lightning is better. It's absolutely better in every single way. But which one did I have more fun with? It might be Flash. But not because Flash is good. Clearly.
The title of the segment is Best Episode of the Week, so Black Lightning wins.
Fine, Black Lightning wins.
I'm not even. And I as much as I was laughing during Flash, I think Black Lightning was still more enjoyable. But
Yeah, but I was hammered during Flash, so everything was toned up for me.
Okay. But yeah, so let us know what you thought of the episodes in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. All that stuff helps us, as does, of course, going over to patreon.com/MailFuzzTV, where you can support us for as little as $1 per month, and you can get some bonuses, get some stuff early, all that kind of thing. But that's that. So that's us. Yeah, you can buy some merch. There's links in the description to both the US and UK stores. You can buy some merch. Get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz or at DC Comics Podcast if you want specific DC Comic stuff. But that's it. So thank you once again for watching and listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching superhero TV shows and all that jazz. And always remember that sometimes we screw things up for the better.